two vehicles, a Golf and a BMW, white in color.
And when you then arrived at the address, what transpired?
Upon
Captain, your mic. If you can just keep them on, yes. Thank you.
we immediately noticed that it was a police operation in progress.
You first mentioned the time of your arrival. Please repeat that.
Yes, Commissioners.
Yes.
We arrived there around about 5:15. And upon disembarking from the cars, we could notice that there was like a police operation in progress. Pardon? In progress, could notice that a whole lot of members around the vicinity of the crime scene. Police members clad in balaclavas and with rifles and sidearms.
And what else did you observe in paragraph 6.1? You talk about the members of law enforcement that you saw. At paragraph 6.2, you note some of the vehicles.
Yeah,
what were your observations?
Yeah, some of the vehicles they didn't have registration. Some were unmarked as well.
And you say that this suggested that there was an operation underway.
Yeah, that's correct, Commissioners.
And then you also note that they were communicating, the officers, with radios.
Yes, yeah, some were communicating with radios.
My apologies.
Captain, you also mentioned that they were somewhere in bulletproof vests, and you also saw uniformed officers.
That's correct, Commissioners.
So at that point, from your observation, you saw that it was a SAPS operation.
Yes, on what I observed, like also approaching the whole setup where the operation was. I mean, like with the way they conducted themselves, and through my experience witnessing police operations, I could notice that it was a police operation in progress, and there wasn't, like, if it wasn't a police operation, there was going to be like a confrontation.
Okay.
Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. You say that it was then immediately apparent that it was a police operation.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Captain, at this point, with your experience in seeing that it was a legit operation, why did you feel it was still necessary to continue with the verification exercise?
Why I felt that it was necessary to verify whether it was a police operation, just to get a reference, reporting back to my superiors.
Captain, you then say you proceeded and the first person you interacted with was a Captain Krueger. Can you tell the commissioners about that interaction?
Yes, my first interaction at the address close to the crime scene, I interacted with Captain Krueger. I introduced myself as Captain Norkia from Joburg office, and whereby he introduced himself as Captain Krueger from the DPCI Tom's office. And he informed me that, he also confirmed that it was a police operation from a national task team in progress.
Captain, at this point you are now interacting with your counterpart from the Tom's division. Why was it not enough You've seen that it was a police operation. Now you've talked to Captain Krueger, who confirms it's a police operation. Was that not enough for your purposes?
The reason why I had to interact with someone else that's involved with the scene is to get the reference to report back to my superiors.
So once you talk to Captain Krueger, you then say the next person you met was Captain Wanda.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Can you explain what happens then with the interaction with Captain Wanda?
Yeah, upon meeting with Captain Wanda, he came there whereby I was standing with Captain Krueger, and he informed me that they were engaged with an operation whereby they executed a J50 warrant, an arrest warrant, as well as a J51 search and seizure warrant, whereby I asked him for a case number and or an inquiry number, and he didn't divulge that to us.
And you then say that when you asked him for these reference number, or alternatively a case number, he responded by saying, tell your general to speak to General Khumalo.
That's correct, Commissioners.
You then say after this interaction with Captain Wanda, where you now don't get the reference or case number, you then establish contact with Colonel Matlole.
And then, yeah, that's correct, Commissioners. I established contact with Colonel Matlole, whereby I informed her about what transpired, and whereby she also informed us that we should withdraw, and I informed the members that we should withdraw, and that it was a legit police operation in progress.
And Captain, how much time did you spend at the scene?
At the scene, we didn't spend more than 15 minutes upon leaving the scene.
And then once Lieutenant Colonel Matlole said you can withdraw, what did you advise your team members?
I advised the members that we should withdraw, and we immediately left the premises, and whereby I reported back to her via like an SMS as to a short description or as to what happened.
And Captain, in your interaction with other members, did they note anything that they would have seen when they were attending the scene?
Yeah, the other members were a bit far from the crime scene. They were basically towards the end, and when I walked closer to the crime scene, I walked in with Warrant Officer Khadebe, where you were also engaged with some members of the task team.
Thank you, Captain. And is there anything else you want to tell the Commission about your involvement or presence at the scene?
Nothing. That's all that I can say.
Thank you, Captain.
Captain, was this the first time, or do you have other experience where you've been instructed by your superiors to go and attend to a scene because of supposed information that someone is pretending to be a police officer? Is this something common and that you have experienced?
No, this was basically the first time, Commissioners.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, Captain.
Morning, Commissioners.
How are you?
Well, and self?
I'm good. I have 3 points, and the first 2, I think you're just going to confirm what should be general knowledge. address where you are based in Diagonal Street, from there to this address at Sandhurst, it's about 11, 12 kilometers, right?
I think it could be more than that, Commissioners.
I've checked, I think it's 12 kilometers. And the point I want to make is really that if the team from the Diagonal Street office could go to Sandhurst to verify that this is a legitimate police operation, there was no need to bring people from Pretoria North and people from Molefe City to come and verify the same thing, because the team from Diagonal Street could clearly do that. And based on what you are telling us, you did in fact go there and verify that this is a police operation.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Yeah. So I'm worried about what the Pretoria people and the Molefe City people were doing at this address in Sandhurst. The other thing is, in your statement, you say immediately when you got there, it's paragraph 7, you could see that this is an official SAPS operation. So you saw that immediately when you got there. Now, what entitled you to a reference number and a case number in relation to the J51? Once you know that these are the police and you can see that your Tom's colleagues are there, you fulfilled your mission, because your mission was to go there and check if there are people impersonating the Hawks. Once you got there and you see that they are legitimate Tom's people, they are legitimate SAPS people, that's what you were sent there to do. And that's all you needed to report back on. I don't understand why you needed the J51 reference number or the case number for the operation, because that borders on interference.
Yes, Commissioners. Can I just explain why I needed the reference number? The reason why I needed the reference number is to report back to my superiors as to, like, normally what happens, I have to report back using a reference as to, we engaged with the investigators there, and they were engaged with this operation using this case number or this inquiry number. It was for our own reference as well.
But you are interrupting what they are doing, because if you are saying they must now stop and attend to you and give you details of the operation, you are interrupting what they are doing. That's my problem.
Commissioners, we were not interrupting with them because they came to us. We didn't ask for them. They came right there to us and informed to say that they are engaged with executing a J50 and a J51, and whereby I asked just for a reference, whereby I can report back to my superiors as to say, we went there to verify this, and members were, and whereby I just report back to say members were busy with this regarding to this case.
I don't think you needed a reference number for that, and you could still report despite the fact that you were not given a reference number.
But it's a reference that would be needed from our office.
Did you get it eventually, the reference?
I didn't get the reference number because Captain Wanda informed us to say that he wouldn't divulge any much more in regard to the case. It's just what they were busy with, executing the J50 and J51 warrants.
So my point is, you could still report to your superiors without the reference number, because that was not necessary.
I could. That's why I reported it without the reference number with the commissioners.
Thank you.
Captain, what did Colonel Matolo say to you when he gave you the instruction?
That we should proceed to the address and to go and verify whether, because there's information that there's members, to verify whether it's that there are members impersonating themselves as Hawks members.
And you say upon receiving that instruction, you immediately said to your team that you were with, let's proceed to that address.
Yeah, I spoke to the team and then we proceeded to
And
the
when you
address.
and when you got there, you parked your vehicles and you proceeded. You, in particular, with warrant of Sahadebe, you proceeded to the gate.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Was there any discussion amongst your team, you and your team, what you are going to do when you get there?
Yeah, upon receiving the information, I informed them the discussion was about to go and verify whether there were genuine Hawks people there.
Yes. You didn't know what you were going to find there. You were just told there are people that are impersonating
That's correct, Commissioners.
the Hawks, and
That's
you
correct,
just
Commissioner.
proceeded, parked your vehicles and proceeded to the gate
That's correct, Commissioner.
without any plan of what we do if we find indeed these are impersonators.
No, the plan was there. We were going to act if we saw that it was an illegitimate operation.
What was the plan? And at which point did you discuss the plan? I'm putting this to you, I'm asking you this because you are going into a scene that you're telling us you knew nothing about, except that there are people who are impersonating the Hawks. So this is a scene you know nothing about.
That's correct,
At
Commissioner.
which point do you discuss a plan about how you're going to approach this, which you don't know anything about?
Hence that we were not going to rush into the scene as to just blindfoldly. We were going to approach the scene systematically if it was not a genuine scene, and from there we were going to call for more backup.
At which point did you or would you discuss a systematic approach? I ask as a layperson. I imagine you walking into a scene that potentially has got criminals who are armed.
That's correct, Commissioner.
And I'm assuming you know nothing about that scene, unless you know what's going on there from your discussion with Captain Matlole, with Colonel Matlole. Unless you know what's going on, I'm assuming you go there knowing nothing about that scene and you potentially expect there are criminals. At which point do you discuss your approach to that scene?
Hence, as it is approaching scenes like this, whereby there could be a potential confrontation and such, we always have members that are on standby to come immediately. More force towards the scene.
And you would have, summoned them once you meet resistance?
That's correct,
So
Commissioner.
effectively, what you're saying to us is you walked into an unknown scene without a plan at that point and you walked straight up to the gate.
No, it's not that we walk straight up to the gate.
Yes.
What we observed from a distance, we could see that it was a police operation in progress, Commissioners.
Okay, so even before you got to the gate, you were satisfied this looks like a legitimate police operation?
That's correct, Commissioners.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, one more question. Captain, if I can refer you to tab 9 of the file in front of you, you'll see there's a sticker, of course, marked EAK1. It's the last document in the file. Can you see that?
Just repeat that again.
In tab 9 of the file, the yellow tab, you'll see there's a yellow sticker that's marked EAK1.
Yes.
And it looks like a screenshot or picture of a conversation. At the top, it says EAK1 Colonel Sarfontaine.
Yes, I see it.
And that is a incident report
That's
that
correct.
was sent to Colonel Sarfontaine. Have you seen that incident report before?
Yes, I've seen it before.
And is this an account of what happened?
That's correct, Commissioners.
Now, if you go to number 2 of that incident report, it says they informed us that they executed a J50 and J51 warrants, and they didn't want to show us J50 and J51.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Following on Commissioner Kumalo's question, did you ask to see those J50 and J51 warrants?
No, I did not want to see them or ask for them, Commissioners.
So is that not an accurate reflection then of the incident report?
Just a rephrase?
Is point 2 accurate, an accurate description of what transpired?
That's correct, Commissioners.
But
But
you note,
before you say it's incorrect, were you at the same place all the time whilst you were at the premises? Weren't some of you here, others there, and so on?
Yeah, I was in a radius of 10 meters whilst I was there, Commissioners.
And were you the only one that spoke to the police that you found there?
It was myself and Warrant Officer Khadebe. Like, as we were, I was...
Of your group?
That's correct,
Of
Commissioner.
your group, were you the only one that spoke to the police that you found at the
It was me and Warrant Officer Khadebe.
All right, thank you.
and Captain, do you know if Warrant Officer Khadebe requested to see the J50 and 51 warrants?
No, because I was the only one talking to one of the investigators.
Oh, so you were the only one
Yes,
talking.
That's correct, Commissioners.
I suppose the only issue is that from point 2, it looks or suggests that a request was made to see the J50 and 51, and that request was then denied.
No, we did not want to see any of the warrants.
Right. Thank you, Captain.
Can I just check, Captain? This document, you were asked if you've seen it before. This very one that you're looking at. What
Yes,
does it
sir.
mean? What does that answer mean? Did you prepare this, or was it forwarded to you?
This document, as I mentioned early on, I gave a short report to Colonel Matlole, whereby she sent in a full report.
Okay.
Upon being in contact with me, she verified whatever is in this document in front of me, whether that what transpired there, then which I said yes.
Okay, so you didn't prepare this?
No,
this
I didn't
WhatsApp
prepare.
message?
She wrote it and confirmed to me that it was. Is that the document?
Okay, can I just confirm this with you? In that item 5, it says their vehicle were not having registration plates on. That from your statement, doesn't seem to be an accurate reflection of the vehicles that were there. I think in your statement you say some vehicles.
That's correct,
Okay,
Commissioner.
so to the extent that this represents, this number 5, may represent that all the vehicles of the people that were running the operation.
No,
did
it's not all the
have-
vehicles,
That's not
Commissioner.
correct. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bell.
Thank you, Captain. Commissioners, we don't have any further questions for this witness.
Thank you, Ms. Powell.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Captain Norke.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we request a 10-minute adjournment to get the next witness set up. But there is a request from the witness for his face not to be shown because he is a field officer who undertakes and participates in undercover operations. And his concern is that by disclosing his face, he will be compromising some of those ongoing investigations and may also compromise his further participation in undercover operations. He is He's only made us aware of that request now. He says he had made it previously to the investigating team, but the evidence leading team only became aware of it shortly before we started this morning. We don't think that it's an inappropriate request given the nature of his work, but of course we're in the chair's hands as to whether he will allow it. It's not necessarily a safety issue, but it is an operations issue given the nature of his work, that showing his face will expose him insofar as he's participating in those kind of operations.
So in practical terms, then, will he be in the witness stand? And if so, how do we not see his face?
Chair, the proposal is that he gives his evidence from somewhere else within the building via virtual platform, which has already been arranged in anticipation that Chair may approve the request for his face not to be shown.
That's in order.
Thank you,
Thank
Chair.
you. We'll adjourn. We'll hear from you.
Thank you, Chair.
Oh, look, I'm looking in the wrong direction.
Thank you,
Very
Chair.
sorry.
Thank
Miss,
you,
Molefe. And what happens, I don't know which way to look, what happens with regard to the third witness?
Chair, the third witness is Major General Kadwa. He is available today, but only at 2 o'clock. And so we would ask, when we're done with this witness, for an adjournment. Alternatively,
Where is the general? Where is the general?
he indicated to us that he's tied up in meetings all day today and would only be available from 2 o'clock. If it is not convenient for us to hear him today, we can try and arrange for him to come.
We would prefer to sit
immediately.
and
Yeah.
yes, and hear all three witnesses and adjourn, rather than that break and us just hanging around.
We will,
That's our preference. So please let us know as soon
we
as
will
possible.
engage with him, Chair.
Thank you. Let's adjourn. We'll resume when we are told to. Thank you.